For decades, Alcatraz was called America's escape-proof prison. Yet one night, 3 inmates disappeared without a trace. Did they drown in the freezing waters or pull off the greatest prison escape in history? Opened as a federal penitentiary in 1934, Alcatraz was conceived as a symbol of absolute control. Its purpose was to house America's most incorrigible criminals, the escape artists, the gang leaders, the troublemakers. The island's greatest defense was not man-made. It was the San Francisco Bay itself. The constant proximity to freedom made imprisonment on Alcatraz uniquely cruel. From the prison yard, inmates could see the vibrant city, just over a mile away. For this reason, escape was widely considered impossible. The administration boasted a perfect record. No one had ever succeeded, and no one ever would. At the heart of the 1962 escape plot was a man whose quiet demeanor belied a formidable intellect, Frank Lee Morris. According to prison psychologists, Frank Morris possessed a superior intelligence, with an IQ reportedly in the top 2% of the population. He was a man who understood systems and how to break them. Joining Frank Morris were 2 brothers, John and Clarence Anglin. Unlike Morris, they were not criminal masterminds, but they were resourceful, tough, and had a history of escape attempts from other prisons. While Morris provided the brains of the operation, the Anglin brothers provided the essential manual labor, the unyielding muscle, and the shared determination to see the plan through. The first step was to create a hidden workshop. Frank Morris had discovered a critical flaw. The concrete around the ventilation grates had been weakened by the corrosive salt air. This opened onto the unguarded utility corridor. A narrow shaft filled with pipes and conduits became their secret headquarters. To be absent from their beds during nightly head counts, the men decided to create realistic dummy heads to place on their pillows. They collected strands of their own hair and clippings from the prison barbershop floor. These decoys were masterpieces of deception, buying the escapees precious hours of lead time before the alarm would be raised. The ultimate obstacle was the bay. To conquer it, they needed a vessel. Over months, they gathered over 50 raincoats to construct an inflatable raft and life vests. It was slow, laborious work. Every seam held their hopes. If the raft failed, they'd be lost to the frigid waters. The night of June 11, 1962, brought with it a thick, damp fog that clung to Alcatraz Island. After the 9:30 p.m. lights-out call, they placed the masterfully crafted dummy heads on their pillows. This was the moment of no return. One by one, they slipped through the openings and began their ascent. They had rehearsed this climb until they could do it silently and by feel alone. Once on the roof, they moved stealthily, staying in the shadows to avoid the sweeping beams of the searchlights. Their target was a kitchen ventilation pipe. This pipe offered a 50-foot sheer drop to the island's shoreline. Working quickly in the darkness, they began to inflate their makeshift raft. The sound of the waves provided cover for their final preparations. They had vanished from America's most secure prison, leaving only silence, dummy heads, and an enduring mystery in their wake. The morning of June 12th, the routine head count shattered the prison's calm. The escape-proof prison had been breached. The alarm was sounded immediately. A frantic cell-by-cell search confirmed that Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin were gone. An immediate and massive search was launched, involving hundreds of law enforcement officers from the FBI, the Coast Guard, and local police departments. The fourth man, Alan West, was found in his cell and cooperated fully, laying out the entire plan in stunning detail. But he couldn't answer the most important question. Where were they now? 2 days after the escape, a wooden paddle was found floating near Angel Island. This suggested the escapees at least made it into the water. More fragments turned up, including a pouch with personal effects. Investigators believed the flimsy raft was overcome by the cold currents, and they drowned. Yet the most crucial evidence never appeared: the bodies. No confirmed remains of Frank Morris or the Anglin brothers have ever been recovered. This lack of proof fueled a more tantalizing theory: that the men survived. Claims of family photographs, reported sightings, and even a letter from an escapee have surfaced over the years. Crucially, the on-screen text states, none of these claims have been conclusively verified. The FBI ended its investigation in 1979. Responsibility was transferred to the U.S. Marshal Service because fugitives remain wanted until confirmed deceased. The U.S. Marshal Service continues to keep the case open, and their arrest warrants remain active to this day. More than 60 years later, the mystery remains unsolved. Did 3 men beat America's most secure prison, or did the Pacific Ocean claim them forever? Until definitive evidence emerges, the truth remains somewhere beyond the walls of Alcatraz.